Hello fellow YouTubers and welcome. This weekend is a cruiser themed weekend. I have been listening to comments and well, I think it's time we talked about cruisers and how to play them and what works and what doesn't, and there aren't enough cruisers in World of Warships. A lot of people these days play either battleships or submarines or destroyers or carriers. You don't see many cruisers about, and that is probably because the skill ceiling is a little bit higher with cruisers than it is, for instance, for, say, battleships. Sorry, battleship players, I understand. You want to be represented and all that. If you check my video from last weekend, you'll see there's an excellent one up there about the Bourgogne. So you can check that out if you want to watch a battleship video this weekend. But I am going to be solely focused on cruisers. And today I'm looking at the Tallinn, which is, what is the Tallinn? It's a Russian Tier 8 cruiser. I wouldn't say it's a heavy cruiser particularly. The armor profile is quite light. The heavier cruiser being the Petropavlovsky, which is where I'm headed. Eventually I will grind this ship and I will bring you along for the journey. But the Tallinn is the ship I'm playing today. So let's have a look at the build first before I take this ship out for a sail. Okay, let's have a look at the equipment. So in slot 1 I've gone with main armaments modification 1. In slot 2 I've gone with surveillance radar modification 1 because she is a radar cruiser. Well. She's got 12-kilometer surveillance radar and a concealment of 11.4 kilometers. Not many cruisers can say that, which means that when you get spotted and you hit the radar button, chances are you will definitely see what spotted you every time. Pretty wicked. And then in slot 3, aiming system modification 1. I mean, she has got these rail guns. If you look at her artillery, she's got these triple-mounted 180mm barrels or rifles, and they are very, very strong. They're pretty accurate. Everyone mentions the Russian railguns. It's become somewhat of a joke because you can literally laser people down with these. The shell velocity is 920 meters a second and the trajectory is quite flat. Unfortunate that it's flat because you can't use this ship like you would a traditional cruiser. Traditional cruisers, you quite often find yourself having to use islands and hide behind them. You will still be using islands, but you won't be able to project your shells over the top of them because of the flat arcs. Okay, what's the range like on those? Let's have a look. 17.7 kilometers, so quite long range. Then moving on to module 4 or slot 4, we go with propulsion modification 1 to boost our engines and give them a little bit more acceleration. And then finally we go with concealment system modification 1, which gives you this really tasty concealment I just spoke about. Indeed. Okay, she also gets hydro or defensive AA fire. I usually run hydro because I fear torpedoes a lot more than I tend to fear planes, although there's not much you can do with planes. And also on the point of defensive AA fire, it's fairly useless against planes. It doesn't do a lot on this ship. You've got a reasonable AA defense value of 77. What's that mean? It means that you're going to shoot down more than the average ship in your class, but not as many planes as, say, an American cruiser, which will have an AA value another 15 to 20 points up the road from yourself. Survivability-wise, she's got 45,000 hit points and a very poor torpedo protection of 7%. Hence the reason you really want to be running hydro. I can't stress that enough. She's got torpedoes, yay! She's got torpedoes, yay! 4-kilometer torpedoes. These are really an afterthought. These are really there if you find yourself in the rare situation of still floating at point-blank range with a battleship, or still floating at point-blank range with anything. If you are, then you'll be very glad you've got these. But they will rarely see any use whatsoever because 4 kilometers is pretty damn rubbish. Okay, so let's have a look at the captain's build. Today I'm running gun feeder, followed by priority target in slot 2, which gives you an enormous wealth of information about the enemy. How many ships are targeting you at the moment? If this number drops and then increases again, chances are someone just launched some torpedoes at you, so watch out for that. Very useful to know. Then the third pick would be Superintendent, to increase the amount of radar consumables we have and the amount of hydro consumables we have. And then Concealment Expert. After that, I would probably go with Adrenaline Rush. Then I would probably follow it with Heavy AP Shells if it was available. Say this was a Stalingrad, for instance, but unfortunately it's not, so I go with Survivability Expert for the next 3 points. Then, to get the turret traverse working, grease the gears, and then we would finish with something like Top Grade Gunner. Of course, you don't have to take Top Grade Gunner if you don't wish to. You can always take RPF, or if you hate planes and you want to shoot them down better and you hate submarines, maybe AA Defense and ASW Expert. There will be plenty of matches where you'll get plenty of use out of that, but this is the recommended top pick. Right, let's have a look at the armor layout while we're at it. Okay, so 25 millimeters of fore-end plating and 25 millimeters on the back. If we take the noses off, you can see there is a turtleback of sorts, very thin turtleback of 80 millimeters that covers a rather large citadel beneath of 80 mil thickness. Yeah, plunging shells will, as you move away, punch through your deck armor and into your citadel. So bear in mind, she's not that hard to citadel. If we take the sides off, you'll see the citadel is protected to a certain degree, but just below the waterline here, there's no protection whatsoever. So a plunging shell that skips the casemate armor will go straight into the citadel, and it only has to punch through this 80 millimeter belt to hit your citadel. So careful with your broadsides. If you go broadside against enemy ships that are aware of you, there will be many citadels in your life. It is indeed very easy to dev strike this ship, so bear that in mind. This is why I consider her more of a light cruiser than a heavy cruiser, to be frank. I mean, her deck plating's 27 mil, not so good. Very farmable by, say, an Akatsuki or a Kitakaze or any HE spammer out there, really. 13 millimeter deck plating, the superstructure. The deck plating was 27. The superstructure is 13 mil, and it's huge. Okay, so this is a challenging ship to keep in one piece, and you don't get any heals, so you won't be able to rely on healing. So you have to be careful with this particular boat. With that said, let's take her for a spin. Well, I was hoping for a good old tier 8 match, but there's quite a lot of tier 9 in this one, so the Izumo is a terrifying prospect, as is the Kearsarge. The Tirpitz and the Zeton, we don't want to be showing them broadside, but we should be able to trade quite nicely with even the Colorado, but the Kearsarge and the Izumo not so much. If you want to get dev struck out of the game, go broadside to an Izumo. So what would I say is the first golden rule of cruiser play? I'd probably say it's positioning. Where did you spawn in on the map? You can see this on this particular map. All the islands that are really useful to our playstyle are on the other flank. So we've been spawned on exactly the wrong flank. I'm not happy being here in a cruiser. This isn't my happy place on this map. I don't like this side of the map at all. The main reason being I've only got one island to kite around, which is kind of annoying. I mean, at least there is an island there, right, on A, just above us, but preferably I would prefer the island arcs of CCAP. If you look at CCAP, you can see there's lots of opportunities there to set up around 3 or 4 different islands, and you also get the opportunity to sneak up the flank. So I would say that positioning is king, and if you're going to take advantage of this particular side of the map, you're going to need to use the island I'm heading towards now. Okay, the second thing is patience. You're in it for the long haul, you're in it for the long game. Don't try and YOLO in a cruiser. Really don't. Just don't. Patience is also very important. Very important. Take your time. The map or the match will come to you in the later stages, Initially, there are lots of things out there that can basically end you very quickly. As you saw from the armor profile in the introduction, this ship is made of paper. It is very much a glass cannon with a very big citadel, so you've got to be careful. I can see there's a Z-46 over there, however. That's interesting. And something's capping A. I'm going to guess that's their submarine capping A, because since the Z-46 has gone to F4, I think it's safe to say that their sub is indeed in the process of capping. And there you go. Our radar just revealed them both. There's a submarine at G3 and the Z-42 that is already scrambling to get away. No, he's not. He's just sat there in his smoke. I thought he was scrambling to get away, but not really. Okay, didn't do so well with those, did we? Okay, and he's gone. He's sat in his smoke screen. Alright. And now the Kearsarge is attacking with his rocket planes. And we are basically sat in the open, showing broadside. And here comes the Dev Strike. Can you see those shells on the right arcing in? We're going to ignore those. Fortunately, I reversed just in time. But this is the thing. You do have to peek. If you don't peek, you're not going to get to shoot anything, because you can't sit behind the island all day long, because these guns have very low trajectory. I cannot stress enough how important it is to basically hide initially and peek every now and then. Unfortunately, the radar isn't up for very long. The uptime on it is about 20 seconds, which isn't great. There's not a lot you can do. You have given the team very important information, though. They know where the Z-boat is. They know where the submarine is. And that is important for them. I'm going to put my hydro on because I'm reversing into the cap. And I don't want to get caught out by submarine torpedoes. Talking of which, there's some torpedoes going past my position now. I imagine the Z-46 torpedoed the corner properly. Which is another good reason to reverse. Never stay in one position for very long. Okay, so we're just going to use the edge of the island here. You see this edge I'm reversing towards right now, so that we can maybe get some shells into the Charles Martel. Yeah, okay, we got a couple of hits. But there's an Izumo with him, so I really don't want to be detected. So I'm using the edge of the island, and I'm only getting some of my guns on there. He turned out, and they just missed. Okay, we got one hit. Unfortunate. Yeah, he turned out. The Charles Martel with his speed boost on can do about 40 odd knots. So he did a combat turn and managed to avoid getting citadeled, which is good for him. Good for him. But this is where we're going to have to sit. And this is another reason why I don't like this side of the map, because I'm going to be sat behind this island for considerable length of time. Whereas at sea, I would be able to move between the islands and pick a good spot. There's only really one good spot here, and that's this corner. And I'm now going to have another look. There's the Izumo. Yep, flat arcs hit the island. Torpedoes to my left. Interesting. Probably from the Charles Martel. Or maybe the Zeton, who's getting chewed up. The submarine is very close to my position. Yeah, I managed to get some solid hits on the Izumo, but no fires, unfortunately. And the Izumo has very tough deck armor, which is pretty much unpennable. You can, if you're lucky, pen the superstructure. There I did for 250 damage, but that's about it. And no fires. I'm really looking for fires on the Izumo. Did he just... Yeah, he did. Okay, he's firing at the ship behind us, the Nicer now. Okay, that submarine is close. You see those torps? Those are still under the water, so the submarine is right on me. Wow. Yep. I'm surprised I only caused one flooding and one fire, because I reckon he's right there. How on earth? He must be reversing. surely, because those charges aren't hitting. We're not seeing any oil spreads, are we? So he must have reversed back that way, I'm guessing. So we're going to put one there. Hope he reverses into it. Or he might have reversed straight back. That's the problem. I really don't know. So he's well concealed. Don't like submarines. Stupid mechanic, if you ask me. Okay. Interfere with your playstyle, you see, because cruisers are designed to use islands. That's the whole idea of cruiser play. You can open water gun with certain cruiser types. The Yodo springs to mind, the Zhao. Fishtailing away at 18 to 20 kilometers whilst spamming HE. There he is. Cheeky little swine. Well, I'll be damned. Okay, got some shells. Six hits and I did what? 2k damage? Why is he not even dead? Okay. Low risk, high reward subs, aren't they now? With the changes. Okay, he's on fire. Still not dead. Iowa got him. Now the Iowa got him. Okay, good. Good. I mean, he literally just banzaied our fleet. So I'm not too surprised we got him. Okay, but patience is king. You really want to keep your ship alive for as long as possible. We don't have any heals. No damage repair for us. So we're protecting our health pool until we really need it. And as you can see, we're 8 minutes into the game and we've only done about 8,736 damage. A couple of fires, flooding on a submarine. Not exactly optimal. But this is the playstyle. This is what you should be doing. And keeping an eye on the mini-map at all times. If you think that radaring enemy ships to reveal their locations to your fleet is useful to the fleet, do it. But don't just thump the radar button the second you spawn, because I see some people do that, and I wonder what on earth they're thinking by doing that. Because you've got a range on your radar. Radar has a range. We've got 12-kilometer range on ours. Just to be clear, check your radar ranges before you hit that radar button. Okay, I'm going to move now. We've captured A. The Ostergotland and the Odin are pushing into the Izumo. Charles Mattel is trying to support him, but I think this flank is won. We have the Helena here. We have the Aleatorio. So, and the Gneisenau. We've got a lot of ships in the area. The enemy team is all balled up at sea by the look of it. And we're a ship down in this engagement. So we really need to move up to support the rest of the fleet. Odin's just taken out the Izumo with torpedoes. Smart move. So that's evened things up a bit. And now we can head into B. And I really feel sorry for this cruiser, this Spanish cruiser here. He's going to get himself completely destroyed. Yeah, there he goes. Oh well. The bolognese, yeah. Yeah, tasty snack. Tasty snack. Right, okay, so this Kearsarge is up ahead. And we've also got, with him, the Colorado, 2 cruisers and the Tirpitz. So we've got to be a little bit careful here. Again, I'm using the island. I think I can get some cheeky shots on this guy. Look at those railguns. 10k damage. Wow. Let's do that again. He's showing a lot of broadside, so we can pen him with the AP on the 180s, no problem at all. And another 8k damage just like that. And suddenly we're at 31k damage. So she's a very capable ship in the right situation. Le Terrible is hoved into view. And again, we're using this huge island in front of us to block our position from the enemy fleet so that they can't focus me down. Also, we've got to bear in mind that the Le Terrible might light us as we move into the cap and towards the island in the middle. So we've got to be a little bit careful. Although the enemy fleet seems to be stuck behind all those islands over there. I'm not too sure why they've got into such a huddle, but that's where they are. Okay, we've got a Tirpitz moving in. He's unsupported. He's on his own, so he's fair game. I don't mind showing a little bit of broadside here. Although I think the islands are going to interfere with me a bit, so we'll chuck her into reverse. Okay, I think that's fire from Le Terrible. Not sure why he's firing AP. Okay, got almost 6k on the Tirpitz there. I do believe the Terrible is literally firing AP at me. That wasn't the Terrible, was it? Something else is having a crack at me. But we've got reasonable health pool and we're angled, so we might as well. Okay, we've almost got the Tirpitz down. 11 shells penned there, 3 over pens, 9 pens, and that should finish him off. Yeah, AP into the superstructure. Okay, now we've gone dark again and we can move away. I've switched to the HE because I'm hoping to catch the Terrible out if he should move into cap. I will attempt to light me. I've also got my radar to fall back on. I've still got 2 of those and 3 hydro. So things are looking fairly good for the last part of the engagement. And this is really where the cruiser starts to shine. It's these last few fights with a few ships left on the enemy team where you can pick your engagements and get yourself into one-on-one situations where you have the advantage, like I did with the Tirpitz. Strictly one-on-one. I did take a little bit of fire from the guys behind the islands, but they were taking pot shots at me for about 500,000 damage and not particularly accurate. So we only lost 15k in that engagement, less than 15k actually. So that's decent. That's good. Okay, I'm going to now move in to support the battleships and the Helena. There's the Terrible. Okay, I think he's going to throttle jockey. I was right. And we hit him really hard. 2 incapacitations. Yes, yes. Nice hits there. Okay, good. 5k damage down. Okay, now the Neptune's shooting at me. I'm turning in to avoid the Neptune shells. And they're ricocheting because I'm well angled. There's also a Buffalo having a go, and as you can see the shells are just ricocheting off my deck armor. Not really much of a threat as long as you don't show him broadside. Okay, let's have a go at the Buffalo. And again, notice my positioning. Position is king. Patience is king. Those 2 things, positioning and patience. I'm behind an island again, which means I'm dark, which means I can shoot with impunity at the enemy fleet without them spotting me. And I'm thinking that Buffalo is not long for this world. Let's get rid of him. So we use the island. We stay dark. We fire on the Buffalo. And 10 hits, just like that. The accuracy on these guns is filthy. It's absolutely filthy. I'm trying volley fire now, though, because I think he's going to jink. Yeah, he's jinking. He doesn't want to be hit. And we get a fire on him. We only hit him with 1 shell, but it's a fire. How unlucky is that? And this should finish him off. In theory. Yeah. Okay. And we win the game. There you go. Alright, I think next up I'm going to do a chat about the Miyoko, which is a Japanese Tier 7 cruiser that plays slightly differently to this one. And then after that we'll talk about another cruiser. I'll probably go and have a look at the American Lion. But yes, well played guys. Well played. My name's Lone Gun and this has been the Tallinn. I hope you enjoyed the review and the tips on how to play this cruiser, and thank you all very, very much for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.